I'm making a list and checking it twice, because buying car parts is always so nice. Well, hello. Welcome to day 9 of Vlogmas. Now, I've been making my list for car parts that I need to order for some of the cars outside for when the weather starts picking up a little bit and I've got the time and I can get in all the cars. But first, I need to go and check something under the bonnet of the Charger. Come on, take it with me. And just in case you're new here, I've owned this particular car since 2005, and it's always had a bit of an issue with starting, mostly because it's got a carburetor and it has a choke that works on the carburetor. Let me get the bonnet home, I'll show you what I mean. Now this is the engine of my 1968 Dodge Charger. I've got the gloves on today because it's absolutely freezing out here, even though the sun's out and it looks quite warm from inside the house. Now, as I was saying, it's always been a little bit awkward to start, especially when it's cold. And that's because it's an old school one with a choke. Now, if you're used to working on more modern cars that have fuel injection, you'll not have any of this. This is all the carburetor. Now, at this time of year, when it's cold, when you first get in the car, you hit the accelerator pedal or you push it down a couple of times from inside the car, which activates this here. Now, what should happen to this choke plate, if I pull that back twice, that choke plate should close, allowing more petrol to go through the carburetor than air at this time of year, so it'll start up and warm up quicker. As you can see, that didn't work. Now, what I normally do when I need to fire the car up first thing of the day or when it's cold like this, is I'll take this little rod here. You can see that activates that, and I'll just close that manually, then pump the throttle from inside the car a couple of times, and that'll help it start up a lot easier and start to warm up. But on this one, it's not doing that. And I spoke to a couple of people and they've said there should be a choke return spring attached to the side of the carburetor, which it looks as though there is, and that's what helps this. When I do that, this should just spring shut, but it's not doing that. So I was assuming there was going to be a spring missing, but there's not. There appears to be a spring on there, which is a bit of an issue, because I thought it might be easy to just put a spring on, then it would work, but of course the spring's there, although it's very floppy. So I'm going to need to investigate that a bit further, and then I can add this. If I need anything for here, I can add that to the parts list I've just been making in the house. But that'll all have to wait for now, because I've got to do some more investigation and research. Some more investigation and research as to what's going on with that, because there's definitely an issue with the choke. It's hard to explain if you don't understand how a choke works or how a carburetor works if you're more used to working with cars that are fuel injected these days. But I'll give you a brief explanation, try and make it a little bit easier, not too difficult for you to understand, so you can see what I mean and what I'm looking for if you haven't already got the idea of it. But first, a coffee, because it's really cold outside. With the sun being out, I thought it was going to be reasonably warm-ish, and it'd be okay to be out there for a while, but no, it's as cold as ever. What else do you expect in winter, though? Yeah, so anyway, carburetors. The cars of the age of the Charger, and around about that age until I think it was a little bit later on in time, not exactly sure when fuel injection started getting played with as far as car manufacturers are concerned. But cars of the age of the Charger and the Cortina that's outside, the Ranchero, they're all controlled, the fuel supply into the engine is controlled by carburetor. Now, the way a carburetor works to make it as simple as possible so that anybody watching who isn't a dedicated car person can get the hang of it, the carburetor, if it's set up correctly, it'll allow the right mixture of fuel and air to go down the carb into the engine, and that'll give the engine the ability to fire up and run. Today's modern cars, fuel injection, everything's done for you. You don't have to fiddle around with it at all. It's pretty much a sealed unit from the manufacturer. It's just set to make the right amount of air to fuel ratio constantly, regardless of the temperature, the time of year, or wherever you are. But obviously, carburetors are different to that. Sometimes they need fiddling with or adjusting, and they're ultimately changeable. But essentially, the way it works is, as I said, the carburetor is set up so it allows the correct amount of fuel and air to get into the engine to make the engine run. Now, what should happen, as I said on there, on any morning, whether it's the middle of summer or whether it's the middle of winter, any morning that you come out or when you come out to start the car for the first time, you get in the car with the carburetor, you pump the pedal once or a couple of times, and that'll shut that choke flap. That'll get the engine running, or make it easier to get running. It's not working that way on the Charger, and I've always had to put my hand under the air filter and use that little rod to do that kind of movement and shut the choke plate or the choke butterfly itself. So I thought there must be something missing. I thought there might be something missing. So I had a little look around online at pictures of other carburetors that would also be fitted to Chargers at that time when they were all built, and they all seem to have a spring. Now I was thinking, and I asked a couple of people, and I was thinking and hoping that it was going to be something as easy as having a look at the side of the carburetor and seeing there was no spring there, and then obviously I would need to go out and find a spring or buy a spring and put it on there. But by the looks of that, there is a spring there, as you saw. So that's not the problem. So there's something else that's going on, unless there's some other form of choke control. So I'm going to have to do a little bit more research. But anybody that's watching, there is a genuine car person, and you're well known or well informed on carburetors. That little picture that you saw previously in the video, if you have an idea as to what's causing it to do that, or why the choke's not shutting when I pump the throttle, comment below, let me know, and I'll add that to the parts list, and I'll see if I can get that done, because it's the right time of year to make lists, obviously, and I can get all parts ordered. And if the parts get here in time, I'll show you what parts I've ordered for a couple of the cars, and we'll get going from there, because the other parts have started to arrive. I just haven't had time to have a good look through what's come at the moment, but other ones have started to arrive. So anyway, we're getting there. We're here, it's day 9. We're getting through them all. Speaking of lists, have you made a list? Have you got your Christmas list? Have you got your food list done? Have you got your shopping list done for presents? Do you know what order everything's happening? Or are you getting all ready? There's so much to do. And if you're wondering where I got all the parts from for that particular car, I mean, it was made in 1968. So as of today, it makes it just over 57 years old. It was actually built at the factory in October 1968, so it's a little over 57 years old. And it's still looking good, even though it needs some work done to it. We'll get into that. But if you're wondering where I get the parts from, there's a website online for a place in America called Rock Auto. Now, all the parts are on there that you could need for the car. If I need any body panels, there's another building over there in America called AMD, which is it American Metal Direct? Auto Metal Direct, that's it. It's Auto Metal Direct. And they do all the body panels, like literally all the body panels. There's nothing that I can't get for it if they have them in stock at the time when I need it. I'm all right at the minute for body panels. I don't need an order of those. I've got everything that I need, I think, anyway. But I need to get this parts list out and ordered. It's absolutely fantastic. In case you don't know the way it works, if I put an order in today, I'll actually have all the parts, assuming I've got them in stock, in my hands 3 days from now, all the way from the USA. It's unbelievable. I don't know how they do it. I really don't. And everybody in the UK that has an American car at some point has or will use Rock Auto for the parts, and everybody says the same thing. Absolutely fantastic. And of course, the fridge magnets on the fridge door there that you saw in the last video, every time you make an order, when your order arrives, it has a fridge magnet in it, which is absolutely brilliant as well. A little freebie. Brilliant. Love that. Quick update on the other 2 channels that I watch. Sean has tried another tea. He actually liked this one. So yes, it's a win for Sean. He's made a cup of tea from his tea advent calendar over the Vlogmas period that he's using, and he enjoyed the tea. So that's a bonus. However, the sad news and the continuing sad news is that Josh from the Morning Yorkshireman, he's still mourning, unfortunately, because he still hasn't gotten his calendar. So he's a bit of a loose end as to what to do with the rest of his Vlogmas. However, we're here. We've made it a day 9, and hopefully I'll get some decent content out for you for the rest of Vlogmas. For now, though, I've got to go and get that order put in so I can get the parts hopefully this week, and then I can make sure I've got everything I need for the work I'm going to be doing on that particular car anyway. Who would have thought it? You would never think of it, would you? Car content or automotive content in a Vlogmas. Wow, we've made it. We've got some car stuff in. See if we can get some more car stuff in. over the rest of it as well. If you've enjoyed this video, press the like button on the way out and consider subscribing to the channel if you want to see more of the wacky stuff I'm doing for Vlogmas, and obviously all the car stuff that I will be doing once Vlogmas is over. And there's always all the stuff in the back catalogue that you can go and look at as well, of all the work I've done with all the cars so far and all the events I've been to. But that's going to do it for day 9 of Vlogmas. I'll see you in the next one, 7 PM tomorrow night. Bye for now.